Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining tonight's webinar on AGCS and our use of Schoology. And tonight specifically, we're going to be looking at our parent accounts and how best to utilize parent accounts here at AGCS as our teachers implement Schoology across grades 4 through 12. So my name's Brian Bruto. I'm the Director of Administration here at Avon Grove Charter School. If you can type something in the chat, that would be great, just so that I'm able to make sure that my microphone's working, that everybody can hear me. I'm going to have a bunch of different windows open, so I'm sharing my entire desktop, so you'll be able to see everything. But I want to make sure that everyone's able to hear me. I'm also on a little bit of a lag from the live stream. So as I'm going through, if you have any questions and they come in through the chat, it may be about a 90-second delay. All right, great. So it looks like everybody can hear me, so then I will get started. So again, thank you for joining tonight. I did a webinar like this 2 years ago when we were rolling out our one-to-one initiative, and I got really great positive feedback from parents that it was nice to be able to sit at home in their pajamas and have put their kids to bed and done dinner time and everything, and to do this virtually through YouTube Live and through Google was really nice, not having to kind of drive down to school to just sit and listen in the auditorium. So again, we're, at Avon Grove Charter School, the administrators are trying to leverage technology just as much as our teachers are, in terms of flattening our school walls and making things more efficient for both our students and our parents. So again, tonight we're gonna be focusing on mainly parent account usage. We started the use of Schoology in grades 6 through 12. Last year was our first full year. The semester before last school year, so the spring of 2017, our teachers started to build within the platform. And then all through last year, our secondary teachers were using it and had some basic expectations. But as our teachers started to use it, our 4th and 5th grade teachers at State Road ended up kind of seeing what our 6 through 12 teachers were doing and basically said, hey, we could utilize this really well in our classrooms in terms of our students learning, as well as our parent communication. We want in on this too. So this year we rolled out the use of it in grades 4 and 5, and really our teachers are flying with it. They're doing great stuff in terms of their first or second year of a major platform rollout, and really our timeline for full implementation is a multi-year rollout of this platform as teachers continue with professional development and learning how best to leverage the tool for learning in their classroom. But it's not just about Schoology as an LMS or a learning management system. Isn't just about the student use. It's also about how do we connect our parents with what's happening in our classroom. That was one of the main missions that we had when we were looking at learning management systems that complement PowerSchool, which is our student information system. So, a lot of parents say Schoology. A lot of our teachers say Schoology. A lot of our kids still say Schoology. So I wanted to, set the record straight. It's pronounced Schoology. And what Schoology is it's a learning management system. And what learning management systems do is they're designed to support instruction and communication that's happening within the school and within classrooms. Now, PowerSchool, and we're going to talk about this a little bit later, is our student information system, which is more of a data storing system of demographic information, addresses, things like that. That's not what Schoology is, but they're designed to work in tandem with one another and complement one another. So the learning management system of Schoology, really what we're looking at it to do on the most basic level is to be able to administer online curriculum materials, and be able to have it start to be an online digital storage area for our teachers and for our students. I'm on the parents forum, and I oftentimes see parents going on saying, what was Mrs. Smith's homework tonight? Does anybody remember what Mrs. Smith's spelling words were? So one of the goals of Schoology was to try to combat that issue of maybe students forgetting to write down their homework, writing down the wrong thing, forgetting worksheets at home and not having access to a digital copy that they can quickly either access on a computer or print and complete at home if they were to forget something. So Schoology is kind of acting as a digital storage area for us. In our secondary grade levels, it's helping to deliver some online instruction in a blended format within our classrooms, and in our elementary classrooms is helping to support station rotation model instruction and small group instruction. We're looking at it to try to continue to allow collaboration and learning beyond our bells and beyond the walls of our school. There's nothing to say that learning has to only happen between 7:30 and 2:15, and at 2:15 learning stops, or collaboration stops, or working as a group with peers in a particular class or course has to stop. So what this platform does is it allows for conversations to continue beyond the normal school day if needed. We're already seeing deeper learning experiences and kids being able to, personalize pathways within certain classes and kind of work at their own pace in some courses, get additional remediation or help based on different pathways and completion rules and things that are set up in Schoology. It is also has the ability to cut down on a lot of mundane grading and submission of documents as a digital storage and being able to assign and collect work electronically. We're fostering and growing 21st century skills with digital citizenship and some of the things that we're having students participate in through the use of Schoology. And what we liked about Schoology as a learning management system for us was that it was a closed network system, so that only AGCS stakeholders, only students who are rostered in our student information system, only parents who receive specific parental and student codes distributed by the school are able to have access to our closed network system. So we liked that it was the safety and security that the platform also offered. So, like I had mentioned, kind of Schoology is the center of a lot of things that we're looking to do in terms of the delivering of content, delivering, short quizzes or entry and exit tickets, short assessments. We are rolling out the use of the portfolio feature this year in our high school, where kids are going to be able to start to collect and curate work over time and build digital portfolios of highlighting their best work. It integrates with all of our systems, which has been which was a big identifier and goal for us when we were evaluating different systems, and it allows for the personalization of learning. That's kind of a long-term goal that we have in leveraging the system, not something we're seeing a ton of right now, but the ability to create pathways and allow students to flourish and move ahead, work a little slower and get the remediation or the extra help that they need, and that be in the seamless day-to-day flow of a class is really important to us. Like any system that we look at, we realize that nowadays kids are asked to have, and parents are asked to have, 1 million usernames and passwords for all of the different types of services and online websites and things that we have kids and parents go to. So one of the things that we really liked about Schoology when we were looking at it was its ability to integrate directly with Google for Education, which we're a Google for Education school, as well as our Google SSO. So we have, and what that basically means, it's a single sign-on where kids can utilize their school Google email address and user credentials to log in with a single click of a button to many of our systems and to many of the websites and curriculum sites that we are asking them to go to, which is cutting down on the amount of different usernames and passwords that they need to do. Schoology is great. It's a single click sign on for kids. It's a seamless integration with their Google accounts in terms of document or presentation submission, or their Google Drive access. So I'm gonna kind of start back at square one in terms of parent accounts, and then get into some more specifics. Really, the most important first step is creating parent accounts. We haven't sort of sent out messaging where the expectation is that every parent has an account, but I would say that that will most likely in the near future be the expectation in terms of some of the goals we have on our roadmap of implementation for this system. In terms of parent notifications and having Schoology be along with School Messenger and our website and our Wednesday mail and email blasts, that Schoology would be another main component of our communication protocols. So in order to create parent accounts, the first thing that you need is to get your parent access code. Every student has a unique parent access code generated specifically for an individual student. Now, we've emailed these out to parents, and it's also found within your parent portal account. So if you go into your parent portal account and you go into the grades and attendance, I think it's also on the main menu, you'll be able to see your Schoology access code for your child or children if you have multiple students at the school. So that's the first piece of information that you need. Then what you would do is go to Schoology.com and click sign up for an account. There is a grayed out button that says for parents. And then the first thing it's going to ask you to do is after creating usernames and passwords is to enter that access code. And once you enter that access code, it's going to integrate the account that you created with our specific school domain within Schoology, so that your account's tied to Avongrove Charter School and it's tied specifically to the student whose unique parent access code you entered. I've received a couple questions with regards to parent accounts, specifically for multiple students. So one of them has been, I have multiple students at AGCS. How can I have them all under my one parent account? So once you've created your account and you log in for the first time, you'll see in the top right-hand corner of Schoology, and I'm going to share an account here at some point so I can show a couple of these. You're going to see your name up at the top. And if you hit this drop down, you're going to see the first student's name that you entered that utilized that unique parent access code. If you have multiple students at Avongrove Charter School, all that you would need to do is click the Add Child button. That's usually in the middle of that drop-down menu bar. And it's going to ask you to enter another unique parent access code for your second child. And you would enter that code. And then what would happen is their name would show up right underneath your first child's name. And if you had to add a third, you would just repeat that process for as many students that you have at Avongrove Charter School, so that you're not creating separate parent accounts for every student. You're bringing the information of every student underneath one account that you've created. I've also gotten a couple questions. As a charter school, we have multiple sending districts, and we have a lot of parents with kids in different schools. I have a student in Avongrove Charter School, and you guys use Schoology, and I have a kid maybe in Avongrove School District who also uses Schoology. How do I link these two? How do I link accounts so that I'm not having to log into one and log into another? So the way that Schoology works, and because it's some of its security features, if you have students in two separate organizations, Avongrove Charter School and Avongrove School District, I'll just use those two as examples. You would first need to create a parent account in each organization, and those parent accounts would have to utilize different email addresses. So once you have a parent account with Avon Grove Charter School, and then you have a parent account with, say, Avon Grove School District with 2 different email addresses, you're able to link those 2 accounts across organizations so that you would only log into one and then be able to toggle between the 2. So you wouldn't have to log into one, log out, log into the other, log out, log into the other, log out. You'd be able to link the 2 and then toggle within a primary account. So for parents, again, who have kids across different schools who utilize this, there is a way for you to link your accounts. The real hurdle, though, is having to create an account in both organizations with a unique email address. You can't use the same email address for both organizations. So when a parent logs in to their account, usually, unless you've set up some of your personalization differently, but usually when you log in, you're going to see a dashboard that looks similar to this. And when you first log in, the way that we have to think about your parent accounts is you have your own account with the school. And when you log in, you're logging into your account. Oftentimes, your dashboard may look rather bare, because as a parent, you're not logged in or enrolled in, courses or groups that we have at the school. Your parent account is created as a means to access student information or as a means to receive notifications on the school level that, say, I would send out like, hey, school's canceled today because of snow. Now, we are in the future planning on building parent groups within Schoology so that parents can join certain groups, and that this type of screen may be populated with a little bit more information. But there is a difference between the parent account and what you would see on your dashboard here, and then when you would actually go in and access your child's account from the drop-down menu. And you can kind of see which account you're viewing with a little green check mark next to the names in the drop-down that would be up here in the right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show an account. So the account that I just pulled up in the separate window, and I'm going to kind of make it sit on top of the presentation, is Mrs. Smith's account. So Mrs. Smith is one of our administrative assistants in the main office. She graciously gave me her information and allowed me to use her account tonight as a demonstration. So when Mrs. Smith logs in, and Mrs. Smith has 2 students in the school, when Mrs. Smith logs in, she logs into her account. So I'm logged in as Miss Joyce Smith, and she'll see her at recent activity, which is notifications that have been sent out. Most of what you see would be from me at this point. But you'll see that Miss Smith isn't enrolled in any courses, and Mrs. Smith hasn't joined any groups because she has a parent account and she wouldn't really be in anything yet. However, if I go over here and I click the drop down, I'll see that she has her 2 students, Jack and Julia, who are both in 5th grade. Their accounts are listed here. So Mrs. Smith, when she logs in, if she wants to check on what Jack is doing in his classes, she can, from the drop-down menu, click Jack Smith, and it'll open up a window like this. And now it'll say, you're viewing as Jack Smith. And basically what this does is this is what Jack sees when, in terms of his updates and student activity when he logs in. So he's able, from Jack's account, he's obviously part of the class of 2026, which is our 5th grade class. Here's all of his courses that he's enrolled in 5th grade. And Mrs. Smith, as the parent, has the ability to go in to anything that Jack is enrolled in, whether it's this class of 2026 group, whether it's his 5th grade math class. And as a parent, you have view-only access to everything that your child is able to see. So you can go in and see the presentations that Jack's teachers have posted, the vocabulary terms. You're able to see the assignments. Anything that the teacher posts, you're able to go in and see in a view-only access. The student activity feed here on the main page is probably the most beneficial for parents because it's kind of a collection of everything that's going on. So you would be able to scroll through really quickly and see, Mrs. Ward is saying, hey, remember, holiday show save the date forms are due by October 22nd. That's next week. So, parents, if you didn't know that and you have a fifth grader, holiday show save the date forms are due next Monday. Mrs. Smith can also quickly see that Jack has replied to discussion board posts that have been in some of his classes and can see his reply. So as a parent, you can even see answers that your kids have provided to discussion boards that are happening in their classes. So it really does give you a window into your students' learning, their participation in their classes, what they're learning, and how engaged they are in their courses. From this screen, you're also able to go in and see, graded discussions, graded quizzes, and graded assignments that might have happened within Schoology. You can see here that Jack has had one test given in Schoology right now called Regions of North America. And if I go into it, you're able to see how your student did. And you can quickly toggle to enrollments to see all of the courses and groups that your student is in. And then again, easily everything's links to just be able to drop yourself in as a parent into the class and see it. Now, again, Mrs. Smith has 2 kids in the school. So that was all Jack. Now she can jump very quickly over to Julia and see the same thing. I can see Julia's posts to her discussion boards here. I can see any updates that teachers have posted to the class of 2026 or any of the courses that Julia is enrolled in. So again, it's kind of a collection of all of the activity. So that was kind of what this slide was. I thought I would just give it to you in a live format. Oh, the other very helpful tool is most of our teachers, the majority of our teachers have started to add all of their homework to the students' calendars within Schoology. So in elementary and middle school, in elementary, they're still provided agenda books. Our other students are able to purchase agenda books if they still wish to copy down their homework that way. But our teachers have started to post, particularly in our secondary grade levels, students' homework, read for today. Yep. So I'm gonna pull up the mobile app too and show you what it looks like from the mobile app. So I'm getting to that one. So if you can actually go into your student's calendar. And this was an assignment, for example, in Julia's ELA class that was due on Friday. So you would be able to, as a parent, go in and see your children's work schedule in sort of an aggregate calendar-based format. You will hopefully know in advance when tests and quizzes are coming up. And when projects are due, and be able to, from like a workload planning, the goal is for our kids to be able to see and start to learn how to manage workload planning, which is really important, especially as you get to high school and then into college or into your life. How are you managing everything that's going on and understanding the intricacies of your week in terms of self-planning? So as a parent, you can go in and you can see your children's calendars and the work that they would have coming up as well. You also have a calendar as a parent, and from your parent account, you can turn on different calendars. So, based on your enrollments and based on your kids' enrollments, you have the ability to activate and turn on different calendars. It works just like Google Calendar, so that you're able to see see what's going on, whether it's things posted from the school or things posted from your students' courses on your calendar. Another big question that I received initially at the beginning of this year and part of last year was the notifications portion. So throughout this process, we're learning a lot as we go as well. So the way that parent notifications work in Schoology is that notifications, whether student or parent, and that's whether it's a push notification on your phone or an email notification that you may get, or a text message notification that you may get of activity that's happening within Schoology, is all based on account enrollment. So from your parent account, typically you would not be enrolled in any courses or groups, which means that you don't have any courses or groups in which to be sent those types of email or push notifications. So if an update in Julia's ELA class, if Julia's ELA teacher posts an update to her ELA course, the parent account is not going to receive an email notification saying, hey, Julia's ELA teacher has posted this update. Julia will get that notification, whether it's depending upon if she has them turned on or off. She could potentially get an email notification that tells her that her teacher has posted an important update to her course. But the parent account would not receive that notification because the parent's account is not enrolled in the ELA class. So that was one hang up in terms of notifications that we kind of found out as we were diving deeper into how parents' roles work within the platform. We are working on some workarounds in terms of, like how I mentioned, adding some parent groups and mirroring some of our groups that our students are enrolled in that parents can enroll in as well. So there's going to be information coming out about that a little bit later this year. But we wanted, again, the goal of this platform is partially in terms of communication. So we want to make sure that if parents want to receive those types of notifications, that they have the ability to. So, I get that as parents, you're always on the go. And it's sometimes hard to sit down and log into a computer and log in and check either PowerSchool or check Schoology. And we all have computers in our pockets. So if you have a Schoology account, there is a parent account. There is an iOS and Android app that you can download that you can get push notifications and things for. There is a way, and I'm going to be adding a walkthrough help document to the website, where if you really do want to get push notifications for your child's accounts, you can go into their account and add your phone number as a portion of your child's information in Schoology, where you would get text messages based on your child's updates. But in terms of your usage of the app, so I'm going to pull up a mirror of my phone, and now you should be able to see my phone on my screen. There's my kids. And I'm going to go into my phone, and I am going to go into the Schoology application. So what I did is I logged into the Schoology application on my phone as Mrs. Smith. So this is what the iOS app or the application for an Apple phone would look like. The Android phone application is similar. There are a couple different, it looks a little bit different, but it works very similar. So you can see I'm logged in as Mrs. Smith. And if I go to courses, I'm not enrolled in any courses. I'm not enrolled in any groups, just like you saw on the when I was showing you on the website. However, I have the ability to click My Children, and I'm able to see my students' information, whether it's enrollments or that student activity feed, directly from my phone. So I'm viewing as Julia right now. And that student activity feed that showed me all of the updates that were happening within Julia's account and everything that Julia was doing, replying to discussion boards, submitting assignments, seeing overdue assignments, anything like that. I'm able to see directly from my phone from that My Children button and then choosing which child. I can also from my phone go into their courses. So here's Julia, say I want to go into her ELA course again. And I'm able to see her ELA course, just like I did in the web browser, and access anything that's posted here. Now say I wanted to go back and I wanted to toggle back from Jack. Same thing, I can toggle to Jack and I can see Jack's activity feed and everything that Jack was doing, any updates that have been posted to Jack's courses or groups, I can easily see on my phone. So again, so this is one of those things where it's helpful to have the applications on your phone because you're able to quickly and more conveniently log in and click around and check to see what's going on in your children's accounts so that you're not missing things as a parent that may be posted as updates or in either groups or courses that they see. So I also made a little infographic kind of lucid chart for parents because one of the other questions I got was, now I have PowerSchool, now I have Schoology, kind of what are both of them for? So if you would want to find your student access code to be able to create a Schoology account, you would go into PowerSchool. If you were to want to check your child's official gradebook, okay, you would log into Parent Portal. Parent Portal and PowerSchool is still our official gradebook of record. So that is where grades are being entered, where report card grades are coming from, and where we're distributing report cards and transcripts. Schoology has a gradebook. However, that gradebook will only house assignments and tests and quizzes that have been administered through Schoology, collected through Schoology, and graded through Schoology. So those two gradebooks won't be mirror images of one another. If a teacher distributes an assignment in Schoology and collects that assignment through Schoology and grades it in Schoology, they still have to go in and enter it into PowerSchool. So PowerSchool and Parent Portal, that grade that you see in PowerSchool is your child's official, grade of record for those classes. So again, I said that a couple times. I just want to make sure that that's crystal clear. If you want to see the most up-to-date, accurate, full understanding of your child's progress in their courses or grade in their classes, you want to go to Parent Portal. Or if you want to check past grades or individual assignments, cumulative grades, you really want to go into Parent Portal. What Schoology is for, I want to see a window into my kids' courses. I want to access some of the materials that my kids' teachers would have posted. My son came home and said he doesn't remember what the homework was tonight. Let's log into Schoology and see what his homework was for tonight. So that the Schoology platform really acts as an extension of the child's classroom and complements PowerSchool. So like, how are our teachers using it? Really, most of the time, most of the teacher's time right now and the kids' time is spent in courses and groups. Both act as a content and materials repository. Our teachers are posting their PowerPoints, their worksheets, their skeleton note-taking guides, really anything and everything that they present or hand out to students. They're most likely working towards digitizing and getting into Schoology so that students have access to those materials 24/7, and that's always available to them. They also use it for classroom and group discussions, to be able to distribute and collect assignments for class calendars, blended and hybrid learning. Some of our teachers have started to digitize some of the paper pencil multiple choice quizzes that they've given in the past, and administering them through Schoology, because it will automatically grade the test for students. Those students automatically get feedback in their grade instantaneously, rather than having to wait a day or two for a teacher to be able to hand grade, 100 multiple choice tests. So it really is saving time on the teacher's end, but also then giving students immediate feedback as to their assessments for further learning. In terms of groups, we're utilizing groups. Every grade level has a class of and their graduation year, which is being run by our administrative assistants, our guidance counselors, administrators, and lead teachers in that grade level. So that that's kind of a hub of information by the grade level. So there's a great wealth of announcements and don't forgets kind of being sent out through those class of groups. Our sports teams are utilizing the group feature. We're going to be opening up our sports groups to be public groups, so anybody is going to be able to view our sports groups in terms of their game and practice calendars and practice notifications. If things are getting canceled, that's available to anybody that's at Avon Grove Charter School, really anybody that's interested, because it'll be a very static group, and for collaboration and communication. I'm also going to post this presentation to our website in the Schoology page underneath the parent section. There is a wealth of help documents on the Schoology website as well. So if you need more help, I've added a bunch of different links here for some of the most common questions that I've received, as well as the full Schoology parent guide, which is really user-friendly and searchable, so that if any parents have any questions, that they're able to kind of dig around and be able to get that and get answers to that as quick as possible. So that kind of was a really brief overview of some of the parent usage of Schoology. I wanted to try to hit on a couple frequently asked questions, particularly with like logging in and what am I seeing? What's the mobile app kind of look like? How do I toggle between kids? How do I link accounts? And what does that look like? So right now, if anybody's watching, if you have any questions, I'm watching the chat here, that you feel free to submit a question. I know I'm on a little bit of a lag, so I'll give a brief pause here and see if that can catch up. All right, so I don't see anything coming through. So what I will do is I will start to wrap up here. Please feel free to send me an email if you do have any questions. Myself, I do. Yeah, so Mr. If I know I talked to Mr. Road in the hallway the other day about All right, am I back? Are you able to hear me now? All right. Sorry about that. So it looks like I had gotten signed out. So I have no idea where I left off. So what I will do is I will go back and address the Mr. Road question about posts to the class of groups. So what Mr. Road was doing is Mr. Road was posting to the students' class of groups lesson schedules that hey, we're don't forget that our instrumentals are coming up. So what you would need to do as a parent to review and view those updates right now would be, if you were in the mobile app, when you log in, you would go in, and right now I'm viewing as Jack. So I would go to My Children. I would choose Jack, and I would go into, it'll either show up on his activity feed right here if it's a recent post, or you could go into Groups, Class of 2026, and you would be able to hold on. Let's see if I can get this to work again. How about now? Can you see my screen now? Aces. All right. Sorry about that. I ended up getting logged out and ended up having to go back through the whole process of resharing everything. So sorry about that. So what you would do is when you were if you were in your application on your phone and you see your child's activity feed, you would see those updates for example, Mr. Road posted to his class of group, reminding them about their schedule here. Or you could go directly into the group and view just the posts that are here. So like you'll see here, you see a post from Miss Holleran here that was on Sunday, October 14th. If I go into Jack's activity feed right here, that post from Miss Holleran isn't here because so much has happened since Sunday. So I could hit the more button down here in the corner and keep scrolling, and there's that post from Miss Holleran, and you could keep it going. There's one from Miss Reynolds. I can click more, and I can keep going. Or if you know that things are being posted to the group that your child's in, you could go just directly into the group. And there's that post from Miss Holleran. There's the post from Miss Reynolds. So how it's set up now is you wouldn't receive an email notification that Mr. Road posted that update to the course group because your parent account isn't enrolled in the group. You have view-only access via your child's enrollment in the group. And we're trying to again work on some workarounds. We don't right now want to allow parents the ability to add themselves to these groups that all of the kids are a part of, just because of some confidentiality issues of who's enrolled in what. And if you're enrolled in the group as the user, you have a little bit more access to things that, I don't think that all parents would want other parents access to be able to, in terms of interaction with the kids. That we would end up having to really lock down these groups to be just static message boards, which, really weren't the intention of their use in terms of communication between the teachers and the kids for communication and collaboration. So right now, again, we're working on some alternatives to be able to get you the ability to have those push notifications. But right now, you would have to go in and actually click through the group. So if you're on the app, there's no way to make the group like the main screen right here. However, if your student activity is what you're on, anything posted to the group will show here. So the student activity page right here is an aggregate look at everything that's being posted and done in any courses or any groups that your kid's a part of. So as long as you go My Children and you have your child's activity feed here, the posts that are being made to the class of 2026 will show up here. You can see it. It actually has the indicator right here. Mrs. Ward posted this to the class of 2026. I posted something to Avon Grove Charter School 4 through 6. And because Jack is a part of this, this showed up on his activity feed. Let me see if I can find another one. 2026. So it looks like most of the updates in Jack's account right now are through that group. But if, like, say an update was done through his math class, it would potentially say Mrs. Reynolds, 5th grade math, and it'll have the indicator right here of where that update or where that post is coming from. So really, I think from a parent's point of view, the most important things are that activity feed summary, and then, you know, as students start to do more in this system, as our teachers become more comfortable and we get into a further process of this rollout, you'll be able to see, you know, I can go in and see my child's grades on a specific assignment in real time. So say, for example, a teacher gives a multiple choice quiz or a quiz that doesn't have any teacher graded short answer or essay questions. As soon as the child completes it, they receive their grade. It could be 9 in the morning. At that moment in time, you also, as the parent, have the ability to see in their math class how they did on that test that they took that day. So there is some real-time sense to the ability of parent viewing of these courses and of the materials and of the grades as it becomes more widespreadly used and our teachers become more and more comfortable with it, rather than having to wait for, again, a teacher to maybe hand grade a multiple choice test, grade all of their kids, spend the time then going in and manually entering it into PowerSchool, and the kid took the test on Monday and you don't know how they did until like the following Wednesday, just because that's just how long it takes sometimes to go through that process. The goal of this platform is to, in certain aspects, be able to cut down on that time more for our kids so that they're getting immediate feedback. Research shows the sooner that you're able to get assessment data back and feedback back to kids, the more beneficial that is for their learning. If the kid takes a test on a Monday and doesn't get any feedback about it until the following week, that's in the past to them. So we want to try to speed that process up for both kids and for parents. So again, I'm watching the chat. I'm glad to stay on longer. If you have any other questions, or I can jump into other portions of the accounts, whether it's in the mobile app or the web one. They look very, very similar. Again, in the web portion, this would be that activity feed where everything is sitting, just like in the mobile application. Again, I think a really awesome feature of this is that you as a parent have a window into the classes. I, as a parent, can go into, my kid's math class and see what they're doing. Chapter 1, whole numbers. I'm able to see what the math and focus vocabulary list is here. So it's giving parents more visibility into what's happening, what in their classroom, their kids' classrooms, what their children are learning, and then really allowing you as parents to be more helpful with your kids when they come home. If If you know there's a discussion board hat post in your kid's math class that they're going to be doing in class today, instead of your children coming home to dinner and you having to say, what'd you do in school today? And the canned answer is always nothing. You're able to say, hey, I know that you were talking about, bar modeling today and you had a discussion board going on. Tell me about that assignment. Tell me about your response. Or you can see their responses and say, hey, I saw that you submitted this response to this discussion board in your math class. Tell me a little bit more about what you're learning. It provides the ability for parents to be much, much more involved and be knowledgeable and have that knowledge base. And so again, just to kind of wrap up, our plans are that this grows as years go on. Like with any new tool, our teachers, it takes a lot of teacher training and professional development to be able to leverage something like this to its fullest extent. We're going to be doing more in terms of leveraging Schoology for communication protocols and having it as another option for receiving information from the school. We're continuing to always evaluate how we communicate out information to our parents and to our stakeholders, and we want that to be as seamless and easy of a process as possible, because if you have to dig for information, we're not doing our job. So with that, what I will do, I don't see any other questions coming through. Please, again, feel free to email me at bbruto@agcharter.org. I'm always willing to help and either jump on the phone to try to help out. Me and my team are trying to be part of the solution for both, again, teachers and students and parents in terms of this platform. So please don't hesitate to email. If there were any frustration points here at the beginning of the year, please know it will get better. Like anything new, it just takes a little bit of time, and both the kids, the teachers, the administrators, we're all kind of, we're all trained on this, but we always are having those epiphany moments of, oh, it can be used this way, or, oh, I didn't know it would be able to do this. So it's a learning process for everybody. So again, thanks for joining tonight. Again, my pleasure to be able to do this via the internet so that everybody was able to kind of stay home and be comfortable. Feel free again to email me if you have any questions, and I will stop the recording and the presentation at that. Have a great night. Thanks again for your time tonight.